What we want to do is take our alien world and modularize it so it does exactly the same thing, but it's simplified in that we only see the 3 lines of code just like we did in class. Here's our alien world. Should be pretty familiar to us. Okay, so in order to do that, and like I said in the email, try and do that without watching the video if you can. If you need a hint, then watch the video. But in order to do that, what we're going to do, notice I have world selected here, and down here it says world's details. I'm going to create a new method. Before I create a new method, though, I'm going to put these 4 blocks of code into 1 block of code. And to do that, I'm going to put a do in order block up here, and then drag these things into it. And then take my do in order block, drag it up to the clipboard, and then when I say I want to edit my new code, I'll have that ready to drag in. It'll save me a little bit of time. So create a new method, and I'm going to call that one surprise with a lowercase s. And there's surprise, and just drag that down. And now that's done. And go back to my first method, edit that, put surprise in here, and then I can put this in this block of code here into the trash can. And now it should run exactly as it did before, except now surprise has been modularized out. And there it is, just the same. Okay, now I'm going to create another block of code. Well, I've already got this all in a block for my next method, which I'm going to call investigate. So drag this up to the clipboard, drop that in place, and say create a new method, again a world level method, and say investigate. Go over to investigate, drag that back down, and go back then to edit my first method, drag that block up to the garbage can, and then drag investigate into place, play it, okay, that works well. Now for the next part, I'm going to follow, I think it was Bryce's suggestion, and just drag these things out of the do in order block. And then drag this do in order block up here. And then create a new method called react. Drag it down. And then go back to my first method. And I can either click here world.myfirstmethod or just click my first method edit. Either one will get me there. And then drag this to the garbage can. And then drag react over to here. And now I've just got 3 lines of code that are in my main routine or in my first method that causes my movie to play just like it did when it had all those lines of code. And it really simplifies things, just like putting your books onto a bookshelf simplifies them rather than having them all in a cardboard box. Okay, that worked well. Now I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to do, we're going to go create an object level. We're done with this program, but we're going to create an object level method for the rabbit. And let's see how this program runs. Okay, the rabbit runs around, jumps up a meter, spins down, and comes back down. What we want to do is we're going to leave the first block of code in the main routine, and we want to take these two blocks of code, put them in a subroutine, or well, a method, and they're different names for the same thing. We're going to put this in a method that is an object level method, meaning we don't want the world selected here like it is now. We want the rabbit selected, and we're going to create a rabbit level method, or an object level method for the rabbit. We're going to be using this in a later class. We may be using the alien encounter one in a later class, so keep these things when you're done with them. So the first thing I want to do is put a do in order block up here. I'll put it right there since I have this window in my way. And I'm going to bring this one down and drop that in place, and then bring this one up and put it in place. Try and get rid of that. Well, it doesn't want to go away. There we go. Now it's gone. Okay, so now I have these things in a do in order block. I can put them on the clipboard and say create a new method, making sure that this is rabbit's details and not world's details. Create new method, and we'll call it jump. Okay. Drag that back down. Now we want this to have some parameters, so I'm going to say create a new parameter, and it is a number, and we'll call it height. And click OK. And we're done creating that method, so let's go back to world.myFirstMethod. And we're going to call jump now, and we can see when we get here, we can see we have jump height here. So, and of course that means jump gets a parameter called height, and we're going to drag that in place after it runs around in a circle, and we'll give it a height of 2 meters. You can give it whatever height you like, and I'm going to drag this out of here now and put that in the garbage can. And play it and see how it works. Okay. Notice that the rabbit didn't seem to jump very high. And I'd like to say I meant to do that, but no, I actually made a mistake. I meant for it to jump 2 meters, but it didn't, even after I gave it 2 meters and told it why to jump. Now I want you to pause the video and think for a moment why it did that after I gave it the height. Now I'm going to show you why it did that. When we go over to jump, we can see it's getting the variable height. We're passing it to it, but I forgot to tell it to use it. Over here it still says 1 meter. So I'm going to have it jump height meters. And the same with moving back down. Move down, whoops, click the wrong place here. Move it down, height meters. Now let's see how far it jumps. That looks more like 2 meters. Okay. Now we'll go back to my first method, and we'll make it jump again at the beginning of its circle. And this time we'll make it jump 4 meters. And play it again. There, it jumps off the screen, runs its circle, and jumps a little over half the screen. Okay. That's all you need to do for your homework. Make sure you save them though, because we will be using the rabbit one later, and there's a chance we might be using the alien encounter one later.